From Pacifica, this is Democracy Now!
We now have is evidence that chemical weapons have been used inside of Syria, but we don't know how they were used, when they were used, who used them.
Following reports of a chemical weapons attack in Syria, the Obama administration is reportedly close to begin directly arming Syrian rebels. But new reporting out of Syria casts doubt on whether chemical weapons have actually been used. We'll speak with Tracy Shelton of Global Post. She just won a George Polk Award for her coverage of Syria. Then to Puerto Rico. 10 years ago this week, protests forced the U.S. Navy to stop using the island of Vieques for bombing practice. But unexploded bombs still litter the waters of Vieques.
This small community of Vieques, with the support of the Puerto Rican nation in the archipelago and in the diaspora, without firing a single shot, defeated the most powerful military force in the history of humanity.
We'll speak with Robert Rabin of the Committee for the Rescue and Development of Vieques, and we'll be joined by New York Congressmember Jose Serrano to talk about Vieques as well as immigration. All that and more coming up. Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. May Day rallies were held across the U.S. on Wednesday in the annual show of support for worker and immigrant rights. Thousands of people marched in Los Angeles to call for fair and humane immigration reform.
We want to send a message to the Congress that we need to pass the immigration reform now because it is hurting our children. And if they pass the immigration reform, it could help because they're going to pay taxes. Everybody pays taxes. We are working right now, and we pay taxes. So we need the legalization now.
There's so many people here for change and for unity, and so I think it solidifies with all of the people here sending a message for progress and for immigration reform and workers' rights.
A series of actions were held in New York City, many staged by the group Occupy Wall Street. At least 5 arrests were reported when a group of demonstrators marched to join a rally in Union Square. During another rally at City Hall, KFC worker Joseph Barrera said the recent campaign to pay fast food workers a living wage is growing by the month.
To show you guys the progress that we have made, back in November, we were 200 strong. Now, it may seem like a little bit, but by April, our second strike, we had 400 people. We doubled in size. That's right. Now, not only did that inspire people, but our courage and our unity and the fact that we are here to fight and we're not giving up spread halfway across the country. Last week or 2 weeks ago, the citizens of Chicago, the workers got together and they also struck. Now, we're not stopping there. We're not stopping halfway across the country. We're trying to spread this all across America.
In the day's largest confrontation between protesters and police, at least 18 people were arrested in Seattle, Washington. Some demonstrators broke windows and threw rocks, bottles, and metal pipes, while police used pepper spray and flash bombs. Scores of demonstrators and officers were injured. It was the second consecutive year of May Day clashes in Seattle. 3 people have been arrested on charges of obstructing the investigation of last month's bombing of the Boston Marathon. Police say the 3 destroyed and hid the backpack and laptop of the surviving bombing suspect, Zohar Tsarnaev. Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick said the alleged offenses took place after the bombing and that public safety is not at risk.
Based on the briefings I have had, this is not about this should not raise any concerns in anyone's minds about a continuing threat to the public. This is about getting all the way to the bottom of the story of what happened at the marathon.
Was it your understanding that they did or did not have a role in the bombing incident?
It's my understanding that they did not.
One suspect is a U.S. citizen, and the other 2 are foreign students from Kazakhstan who went to school with Tsarnaev at the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth. On Wednesday, attorneys for the 2 foreign students said their clients are innocent.
Yes, Kadyrbayev absolutely denies the charges. As we've said from the very beginning, he assisted the FBI in this investigation. He is just as shocked and horrified by the violence in Boston that took place as the rest of the community is. He did not know that this individual was involved in the bombing.
My client, Azamat Ajayakov, feels horrible and was shocked to hear that someone that he knew at the University of Massachusetts Dartmouth was involved with the Boston Marathon bombing, just like many other individuals who were interviewed on campus. He has cooperated fully with the authorities and looks forward to the truth coming out in this case.
Tsarnaev's backpack was found in the dump, and the computer has been recovered. Bolivian President Evo Morales has ordered the expulsion of the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, from his country. In a speech, Morales cited the recent comments of Secretary of State John Kerry, referring to Latin America as the U.S. backyard. He also accused USAID of using international assistance for political destabilization.
Some institutions from the U.S. Embassy continue to conspire against this process, against the people, and especially against the national government. And that is why, using this gathering and the 1st of May, we've decided to expel USAID from Bolivia. USAID is leaving Bolivia. I ask our brother foreign minister to immediately speak with the U.S. Embassy. No more USAID which manipulates, uses our brothers with charity.
Morales expelled the U.S. ambassador in the Drug Enforcement Administration in 2008, prompting the U.S. to ban Bolivia's top envoy shortly after. In Washington, a State Department spokesperson rejected Morales' claims and said the U.S. is mulling over a response.
The U.S. government does deeply regret the Bolivian government's decision to expel the U.S. Agency for International Development. We deny the baseless allegations made by the Bolivian government. Whether we'll take an action in response is yet to be determined, but the people who suffer because of this are the Bolivian people who were receiving our assistance.
North Korea has sentenced a U.S. citizen and human rights activist to 15 years of hard labor. Kenneth Bae is accused of committing unspecified crimes against the state. A native of South Korea, Bae is a naturalized U.S. citizen. Activists say he may have been detained after taking pictures of starving children. Bae will likely be used as a bargaining chip should the U.S. and North Korea hold talks. The Obama administration seeking to block access to emergency contraception without a prescription for women of all ages. On Wednesday, the Justice Department moved to appeal a federal judge's ruling earlier this month ordering that the morning after pill be made available over the counter without age restrictions. Back in 2011, Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius blocked the sale of the drug to younger women without a prescription, overruling FDA drug regulators for the first time in history after they moved based on scientific research to eliminate all age limits. Advocates for reproductive justice say the Obama administration's actions are based on politics, not science, and that they prevent access to a safe and needed medication to women who lack ID. On Tuesday, the FDA announced it was approving the emergency contraceptive pill Plan B One Step for sale without a prescription to women 15 and older, a move critics say still does not go far enough toward allowing all women to prevent unwanted pregnancies. President Obama has nominated a former telecom industry lobbyist as the new chair of the Federal Communications Commission. Tom Wheeler is a former venture capitalist and Obama fundraiser who's also served long stints heading two powerful industry groups representing cable and Internet corporations. If confirmed, Wheeler will replace outgoing FCC Chair Julius Genachowski. In a statement, the media reform group Free Press cast doubt on Wheeler's nomination, saying, quote, "The FCC needs a strong leader, someone who would use this powerful position to stand up to industry giants and protect the public interests." On paper, they wrote, Tom Wheeler does not appear to be that person, but he now has the opportunity to prove his critics wrong, Free Press said. A 2-year-old girl in Kentucky is dead after an accidental shooting by her 5-year-old brother. The brother of Caroline Starks was playing with a .22 caliber single-shot cricket rifle he'd been given as a gift. The children's mother was outside at the time and said she didn't realize the gun still had a shell inside the chamber. The rifle specifically made for and marketed to kids under the brand name of My First Rifle. The website of its manufacturer, Pennsylvania-based Keystone Sporting Arms, shows photos of scores of children posing with the guns and says the weapon is meant to, quote, instill safety in the minds of youth shooters. A 16-year-old African-American Florida high school student has been arrested and expelled for a science experiment that went awry. Kara Wilmot mixed together some household chemicals in a small water bottle, causing a reaction that produced some smoke. No one was wounded, no damage occurred. But police led Wilmot away in handcuffs and charged her with possession, discharge of a weapon on school property, and discharging a destructive device. She will now have to finish out her remaining high school years in a program for expelled students. Speaking to local news station WTSP, Wilmot's principal criticized her punishment.
She's a good kid, and you know, she made a bad choice and stuff, and like I said, I don't think she was not trying to be malicious to harm anybody or destroy something at school or anything else.
Although Kara Wilmot is only 16, she will be tried as an adult. A federal jury in Iowa has awarded a record $240 million to a group of mentally disabled workers who suffered abuse and discrimination at a turkey processing plant. The company, Hill County Farms, was found guilty of maintaining a hostile work environment and discriminating against the workers over their disability. The workers were paid substandard wages, hit by fellow employees, called names, confined to rooms, denied bathroom breaks, and prevented from seeking medical attention. The 32 workers were awarded $7.5 million each. It's the largest settlement in the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission's nearly 50-year history, but Hill Country Farms is unlikely to pay the full amount. An aviation executive in Virginia is being investigated for potential hate crime charges after he allegedly assaulted a Muslim taxi driver who was driving him home. The driver, Mohammed Salim, is a former U.S. sergeant who served in the Iraq War and at the Guantanamo Bay prison. Salim says Ed Dahlberg, president of the company Emerald Aviation, attacked him and broke his jaw after confronting him with anti-Muslim slurs. Salim recorded some of Dahlberg's comments on his cell phone.
Yes, if you're a Muslim flying jets in the World Trade Center, then you. I will slice your throat right now.
So you're threatening me?
Hey, will you denounce it? Will you say that that was bad? No, you won't.
Sir, whatever you said is recorded.
I don't give a flying.
I'm going to call 911 right now.
Think that it
According to Salim, Dahlberg soon got out of the cab, but then returned to punch Salim in the face, breaking his jaw. Dahlberg has been charged with misdemeanor assault, and the police are weighing further charges. Salim discussed his ordeal in an interview with the Washington Post.
I'm a U.S. Army Sergeant Reserve. I sacrificed my life. I'm not a terrorist. I'm a Muslim and American. I'm a U.S. Army.
And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman.
And I'm Juan Gonzalez. Welcome to all of our listeners and viewers around the country and around the world.
Thanks so much for watching this report from Democracy Now!, your daily independent global news hour. We don't accept advertising or corporate funding, but rather rely on donations from viewers like you. Please make your contribution by visiting democracynow.org. We need your support today to keep bringing you this hard-hitting, in-depth reporting.